Hey guys, this is Patty B within the Holler. I got another firearm I'd like to share with y'all. This is the Walther WMP chambered in 22 mag. We'll go ahead and make sure she's clear. Yeah, the WMP is a polymer framed hammer fired blowback operated pistol that feeds from 15 round magazines. I'd like to give a shout out to my buddy George. He let me borrow this pistol for this review. You know, the first thing you notice when you grab a hold of this thing is how big it is. This is a large size pistol. Reminds me of like a full size PPQ. To get an appreciation for the size, take something that's Glock 19 sized, lay it on top, and you can see how large this pistol really is. It's a big boy. However, it's not overly heavy. You know, if this was chambered in 9mm, you know, the weight would be comparably the same. That weighs 27.4 ounces on my scale with an empty mag and this dot installed. It does feature a 4.5-inch barrel, which is pretty darn thick. Looks like a bull barrel. We'll hit the features on this. We'll start with this nice Palmer lower. You know, Walther's well known for having really ergonomic and good feeling grips, and this thing kind of is very PPQ-ish, which is a good thing because it feels really good in your hand. Have a nice little undercut here and here. You feel like you can get fairly high on it. For the trigger guard, you've got some traction. Of course, you've got a rail out here for whatever you want to put on this. The controls, one of the neat things on this is you have 4 buttons or levers to eject the magazine. This thing's truly ambi, so you can eject it there, there, and then you've got Euro style as well, to where you can just, on the trigger guard, push it down, it comes out. So whatever your favorite method of ejecting a magazine, this thing's got you covered because there's 4 different ways to do it. Slide stop, slide release, truly ambi too. You got 1 on each side. Trigger on this, you know, it's not too bad. Like I said, it's hammer fired, but you know, when you run the slide, it like pre-cocks it halfway, and then you have to pull it the rest of the way. It's really, I guess, single action because you don't have double strike capability, but it does pre-cock the hammer a little bit for you. And as you go to pull the trigger, which it's got a Glock style dingus safety, so you can't pull it without pushing the dingus. You see the hammer here goes back a little bit and fires. The trigger weight on it is pretty light. I didn't measure it. I'm gonna say it's about 4 pounds, maybe a little bit less. It's pretty good. The reset on it, you really can't feel it at all on this. I didn't hear anything, didn't feel anything, but it seems to be most of the way out. I'm not a big, you know, half the time I don't even shoot to reset, so that doesn't bother me, but I know some people do, and that might bother them. But the trigger brake is great. It's just your reset, not so good. And as you can see, no double strike capability. Slide on this thing is aluminum, you know, to help save some weight. It's got some nice forward and rear serrations, and you do have some slide cutouts here to reduce weight. The factory sights, blacked out rear, and fiber front. Pretty good for target shooting. Also, obviously, it's optics capable, and I think it came with 2 plates, I think my buddy said. And so he's got, I don't even know, he's got a Viridian mounted on there. But the stock sights look pretty good. I guess we'll be using the dot instead of sights for this review, but they look like they would do absolutely fine. But yeah, my buddy's brought his pistol out here before, and he shot it a little bit. And you know what I remember from him shooting it is, you know, for a 22 mag, this thing actually throws a fireball and is pretty darn loud, yet still soft to shoot. I think I did put maybe 1 mag through it a few months ago when he had it. I'll be honest, I can't even really remember. I just remember it has an impressive fireball and a soft recoil. Well, I got 200 rounds of CCI Maxi Mag 40 grains. We're going to run through it today, you know, and see how this thing does, and I'll come back inside and tell you what I think about this thing. Well, let's go ring some steel. All right, we're back here about 10 yards with the WMP. Put our shots through it, see where this thing's sighted in at. And, you know, another thing to note is loading rimfire magazines when they have that tab on the side. It makes it so nice. But let's see where this bad boy's hitting for us. This thing, it sounds like a cannon. It throws a fireball. It makes you feel like you're shooting something big, but the recoil is really, really nice with this. Yeah, this is fun. All right, step back about 15 yards. See how this thing does. You know, this thing's so loud, I can't really hear the steel. I don't know if you can hear it or not, whether I'm hitting or not, but this thing's shooting pretty good. But let's see if it does a little farther. All right, this thing, it's got a pretty darn nice trigger, and with the red dot, this thing's kind of like a laser beam. It's just gonna hit wherever you put that dot. Let's try that 25-yard plate. I don't know if that flash coming out the muzzle is visible on camera, but this thing throws a fireball. This is pretty cool. It sounds big. It's loud, fireball, but 22 mag, so not much recoil. It's quite a bit of fun. All right, let's try that 40-yard plate. All right, she's shooting good. Let's try that 60-yarder. All right, back inside from shooting the Walther WMP. We'll make sure she's clear. And yeah, this thing is a blast to shoot, literally. Just because it's loud and throws a fireball, you take this to the range, you know, everyone's shooting their 9mm or whatever. People are going to turn their heads when they see you shooting this or hear you shooting this, just because, you know, the report and the blast is pretty awesome. I put 200 rounds of CCI Maxi Mags through it, 0 malfunctions. Thing ran really well. The red dot was sighted in pretty close enough to me to where I could make good hits with this thing. And, you know, with that good trigger and the red dot, it wasn't hard to make hits. The only downside being shooting steel. You know, the 22 mag doesn't make the report when you hit the steel as good as, you know, like a 9mm or something else. So sometimes it was hard to tell if I was actually hitting what I was shooting at. But this thing seems to be incredibly accurate. You know, good trigger, excellent grip, and then, you know, the red dot. But even these factory sights, pretty excellent. I'm sure that if you took that off, I could shoot this thing well too. This thing is just set up for accuracy, and you know, seems like it does that pretty well. So The big question to me is, what is the purpose of this? What do you use this gun for? Well, number one, to me, going to the range and just having fun, because this thing is incredibly accurate, good trigger, everything about it, you know, seems like it's going to shoot so good. I didn't really shoot groups on paper, but I've no doubt this thing would do well. But, I mean, you're not going to carry this thing. It's huge. It's massive. Nobody's going to carry this. You know, I guess you could use this for a, you know, inside the home. You know, 22 mag is probably not your best option, but it does have a couple advantages. One being, you know, with the, you know, 22 mag not being a super hard recoiler. You know, if you don't have strong hands, this doesn't recoil much. And also the spring weight on this is very light, so anybody can rack this. This slide is really big, so you have all kind of real estate to grab it. And I don't care how weak your hands are, you can rack this. And then, of course, since you have a light rail, you could flex this into home defense for somebody with, you know, with weak hands. But to me, primarily, this thing is a range toy, and it's a pretty awesome one. Yeah, like I said, had a lot of fun with it. This is definitely cool, and this is going to turn heads. Well, there you go, guys. Walther WMP and 22 mag. Y'all have a nice day.